Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian sustained minor injuries in an Israeli airstrike on a meeting of Iran's Supreme National Security Council June 16, Fars news agency reported on Sunday. According to Fars, related to Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, the missile attack was launched as top Iranian leaders, including Iran's parliament speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, Judiciary chief Gholam-Hossein Mohseni-Eje'i, and other senior officials were at the meeting with Pezeshkian. The airstrike came 4 days into the Iran-Israel war. The airstrike involved 6 projectiles that struck the entrances and exits of the building, apparently in an attempt to prevent those inside from leaving. The report said Iranian authorities suspect a possible internal leak, citing the accuracy of the strike. The officials managed to escape via an emergency hatch despite the power of the building being cut off. Masoud Pezeshkian and some others were slightly injured in their legs while escaping. Last week, President Pezeshkian said Israel attempted to assassinate him. In an interview with American commentator Tucker Carlson, Pezeshkian said he was in a meeting during the attack. Thanks to the intelligence by the spies that they tried to bombard the area in which we were holding that meeting, Pezeshkian said, without specifying the date of the alleged assassination attempt. The 12-day armed conflict between Israel and Iran broke out on June 13 after Israel struck nuclear, military facilities in Iran. Tehran retaliated by launching barrage of missile and drone strikes on Israel. Finland's President Alexander Stub has called Russian leader Vladimir Putin a strategic fool and a military failure for his war of invasion in Ukraine, the Sydney Morning Herald media outlet reported on Saturday. Speaking from his official summer residence, Stub emphasized that Putin is paying too high a price in the ongoing war in Ukraine, with his troops making very slow progress. I would argue that this is the biggest tactical and strategic mistake in modern history. Putin's goal was to dismantle NATO. Well, he just doubled the NATO border through Finland. I've never seen the EU more united. So, Putin has failed on all fronts, Stub stressed. The Finnish leader warned that Kremlin's military buildup was likely to continue as the Kremlin was unlikely to return to peaceful democratic state. They will not revert into a peaceful liberal democracy. And second, they will continue a military buildup, Stub stressed. He also commented on Russia's military buildup near the border with Finland, saying, "We can observe, we see the movement of the soldiers, we see the buildup of the infrastructure. It's normal. We did the same." Stub stressed Finland's long-standing policy of military readiness. Russia's military buildup on the border came after Finland's decision to end its decades of non-alignment and to join the NATO following full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022.
An important meeting between Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev and Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan took place in the capital of the United Arab Emirates, Abu Dhabi. The talks were the latest step in efforts to achieve lasting peace between the two countries, which have been in conflict for decades, especially over disputes over Nagorno-Karabakh and adjacent territories, Azerbaijani and Armenian Radio Liberty reported. High-ranking officials from the Armenian side took part in the negotiation process. Deputy Prime Minister Mir Grigoryan, Secretary of the Security Council Armen Grigoryan, Foreign Minister Ararat Mirzoyan, and Vice Speaker of the Parliament Ruben Rubinyan. The Azerbaijani delegation was represented by Deputy Prime Minister Shahin Mustafayev, Foreign Minister Ceyhun Bayramov, Special Representative of the President Elchin Amirbekov, and Press Secretary of the Foreign Ministry Hikmet Hajiev. As historian Zirair Liparityan said in an interview with the BBC, the agenda included issues of unblocking transport corridors, primarily the Zangezur Corridor project, as well as border demarcation issues and other contentious issues that have not yet been resolved. The Zangezur Corridor is a potential route that would link the mainland of Azerbaijan with the Nakhchivan Autonomous Republic via southern Armenia. The project is strategically important for Baku as it would provide a direct land link to the exclave, but Yerevan insists on a number of conditions regarding the legal status of the route. Although the parties had already announced in March 2025 that they had agreed on the text of the future peace agreement, the document was not expected to be signed in Abu Dhabi. According to media reports, Azerbaijan insists on changes to the constitution of Armenia, which still contains language containing territorial claims. On the eve of the meeting, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio expressed optimism about the progress made and hope for a quick agreement. The U.S. has previously acted as a mediator between the two countries, and the diplomatic involvement of Washington, as well as Egypt, Qatar, and the UAE, helps maintain the dialogue. Meanwhile, as Baku moves closer to the West and becomes less dependent on Russia, a rhetorical shift has been noticed in Russian propaganda media. The Kremlin agenda has given instructions to spread negative sentiments towards the once friendly but Russia disengaged Azerbaijan, similar to what has been said about Ukraine since 2014. Thus, the Novorossiya news agency called Azerbaijan an artificial entity created with the assistance of Russia.
More than 40 people were arrested on Saturday at a protest in central London against Palestine Action being proscribed a terrorist organisation by the British government. According to Associated Press, it comes after activists broke into a Royal Air Force base and damaged 2 planes in Breise Norton in Oxfordshire, England on June 20. The Metropolitan Police said 42 people had been arrested by late afternoon on Saturday. All but one of the arrests were for showing support for a proscribed organization, which police have said includes chanting, wearing clothing or displaying articles such as flags, signs, or logos. Another person was arrested for common assault. It was the second consecutive week protesters gathered to support the group. Police arrested 29 people at a similar protest last weekend. 2 groups gathered underneath both the statues of Indian independence leader Mahatma Gandhi and South Africa's first post-apartheid president, Nelson Mandela, in Parliament Square. Signs with the wording, "I oppose genocide, I support Palestine Action," were held aloft in silence as the protesters were surrounded by police officers and members of the media. Officers were carrying away a number of protesters who were lying down, lifting them off the ground and into waiting police vans parked around the square. Other demonstrations were also planned across the UK on Saturday, including in Manchester, Cardiff and Londonderry in Northern Ireland. The designation earlier this month of Palestine Action as a proscribed group under the Terrorism Act 2000 means that membership of the group and support of its actions a criminal offence punishable by up to 14 years in prison. Some 81 organizations are already proscribed under the UK Act, including Hamas and Al-Qaeda.
I'm here. Sorry guys, please. Just watch yourselves guys please, thank you. Thank you.